गणेशाय नमः. ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः. ॐ श्री गुरवे नमः. हरिः ओम. गणेश जी कीर्तन.
Namaskar everyone and welcome to the Hindu Prachaar Kendra's Sunday morning Satsang. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's always a pleasure, a real joy to have you join us for our Sunday morning satsang right here at our Shri Ram Vijay Mandir, located at Jalibia Trace, Raghunanan Road in Enterprise Central, Trinidad. Well, we got up to a very rainy, wet morning, but we are seeing some nice sunshine outside, and we hope whatever you are doing that you are keeping safe and keeping well. The many COVID-19 deaths and the present upsurge in cases here in Trinidad, it's quite worrisome. So right at the start of satsang, we want to remind you to follow all the protocols and guidelines, and it's also critical that you get vaccinated if you have not done so as yet. So whatever you are doing, please give due consideration to all of this for your well-being and our collective well-being also. Well, this week it was a bit busier than usual with all the messages, and I want to thank you for your feedback. It is certainly very evident how excited some of you are about Ramayan Katha, and someone messaged me, Geeta ji, you're looking too happy doing Ramayan Katha, and yes, I am also very excited whenever we are doing Ram Katha, and also this particularly this Shri Ram Sita Vivaaha Katha, which we started exploring last week, and the actual Sita Ram Vivaaha will be in about 10 days time. The day will be in about 10 days time. And I feel the mood is so wonderful and so nice because we are all missing coming together for weddings and all such joyful occasions. So I am glad that this Katha, all of us, we are happy that the Katha is providing some relief for all of you at home. So we started some important reflections on our very beautiful and meaningful Hindu wedding traditions. And we'll continue doing so this morning and also continue into next week. But first we have to set the right mood for wedding. And like we did last week, we'll start our bhajan session, and at the end of pravachan we'll also conclude with these beautiful Vivaaha Geets, our traditional wedding songs. It's a genre that somehow evokes real nostalgia, a kind of nostalgic mood, because it takes us back to a time gone by, and we, like I said, we are so happy that we have so many persons who are still continuing with this beautiful genre to spread it and nurture it and to teach it. So we are going to join with the Kalia ji in this very beautiful Vivaaha Geet that actually is what our Katha is about today. Siya Racho Swayamvar Janakapura me. In the city of, in the kingdom of Raja Janak, there's going to be the Sita Swayamvar. And it is being held so that Sita Mata can have the most deserving dulha. He has to be well able and qualified. So beautiful. So who came there? Muni Vishwamitra came to Janakpur there with Shri Rama and Lakshman. And when they entered, everyone was so delighted to see them because it was a moment of darshan. We must not forget this. When you go to a wedding, to see the Dulhan, it is darshan of Bhagwan. So this is something we often forget. So just to see Shri Ram and Lakshman and Muni Vishwamitra enter the Swayamvar arena, everyone was so delighted. And Sita became very anxious. Why? She was wondering whether this bow would actually be lifted and broken. And if it doesn't happen, the Kalyaji, what will happen? What will be the situation? That as Sri Rama came forward, there was great anticipation, And of course, we know the Katha so well. He lifted this great bow and he broke it. And what a relief and joy it was for Sita as she garlanded him. So this is what we are celebrating and what we are looking at this morning. And before the Kalyaji starts, I want to dedicate this Vivaaha Geet to our dear Rennie and Geeta Harry, the parents of Ish, or technician behind the sound always. It is their 25th wedding anniversary tomorrow. So from all of us at the Hindu Prachaar Kendra, everyone at Bal Ramdilla and the Heritage Vacation Course, they are so supportive of our work. So we wish you all not just 25 but 50, 75 long years. May you continue to be happy in your married life, and they certainly understand the role of grihasta, of the householder, to also support community. So happy 25th wedding anniversary, Rennie and Geeta Harry. Let's celebrate and join with them.
सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुर में सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुर में सियारचो स्वयंवर देश देश के भूपति आए देश देश के भूपति आए बड़े बड़े जोधा और बलिदाए सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुर में सियारचो स्वयंवर विश्वामित्र को गए संग में विश्वामित्र को गए संग में राम संग लक्ष्मण दो भाई सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुर में सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुरी को सब नर नारी जनकपुरी को सब नर नारी राम लखन को देखन आई सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुर में सियारचो स्वयंवर नैना कमल से मोहन मूरत नैना कमल से मोहन मूरत कोमल गति धन सुखदाई सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुर में सियारचो स्वयंवर सीता मन में सोच रहत है सीता मन में सोच रहत है इनसे धनुष टूटेगा नहीं सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुर में सियारचो स्वयंवर मैं क्यों करबूंगी इनको मैं क्यों करबूंगी इनको जाए सवेरा जे बलिदाई सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुर में सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुर में सियारचो स्वयंवर तोरे धनुष राम ने आके तोरे धनुष राम ने आके फूलन माला सिया जी पहिरानी सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुर में सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुर में सियारचो स्वयंवर सबसे ऊंचाई मन में न कोमल सबसे ऊंचाई मन में न कोमल जो हरे फल फल पाई सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुर में सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुर में सियारचो स्वयंवर जनकपुर में सियारचो स्वयंवर
बोलिए सियापति रामचंद्र की जय जय श्री राम. Man, I can just see the few who are here, and even us on the ground, our bodies are dancing while we are seated. Even our technicians also, they are giving all the head movements and everything. So joyful, so beautiful are these Vivaaha Geets. So we are doing one more kirtan this morning because I want to leave some time. We have several chaupais to share, and we want to make some good speed this morning to try to cover the whole Katha. The Ram Sita Vivaaha Katha needs a whole yagya. And I was actually thinking we can actually do a yagya on weddings. So that is something we can plan here at the Kendra. So this kirtan, we've been trying to select kirtans that praise not just Shri Ram but also Sita Mata, Sita Devi. So the lines are very simple. If you listen, you can follow along. Praises all the wonderful qualities of Bhagwan Shri Rama, praises that one who is beloved of Shri Rama and Sita Devi, who also loves Prabhu Shri Rama. So it's really describing all the wonderful qualities of both of them. Now, I just did one dedication of that bhajan, and I want to dedicate this kirtan to our attorney at law, Devanand Ramsaran. Oh. It's such a joy And I want to commend not just Devanand, but his parents out there. Annette, look, I feel so teary-eyed. Annette and Jet, your father, I know how happy and how proud they are. And they have sacrificed a lot to get you to here. So we mustn't forget these things. So Devanand, now we know when we need an attorney at law, we have one right here, and I hope we never need one. So bad business for you. So we dedicate this wonderful kirtan to you. And of course, out there are several others I know who all got admitted to the bar. Right. So I can't remember all the names right now, but we certainly congratulate all our wonderful children. So let's celebrate with Bhagwan Shri Rama and Sita Mata.
राम राम जय राजा राम 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 जय सीता
राम राम जय राजा राम 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 जय सीता राम
वैदेही प्रिय राम राम राजा राम जय सीता राम
वैदेही प्रिय राम राम राजा राम जय सीता
राम राम जय राजा राम 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 जय सीता
राम राम जय राजा राम 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 जय सीता
दशरथ नंदन राम राम दशमुख मर्दन राम राम
दशरथ नंदन राम राम दशमुख मर्दन राम राम
पशुपति रंजन राम राम पाप विमोचन राम राम पशुपति रंजन राम राम पाप विमोचन राम 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 जय राजा राम राम जय सीता
राम राम जय राजा राम राम जय सीता
वैदेही प्रिय राम राम राजा राम जय सीता
वैदेही प्रिय राम राम राजा राम जय सीता
राम राम जय राजा राम राम जय सीता
राम राम जय राजा राम राम जय सीता
मणिमय भूषण राम राम मंजुल भाषण राम राम
मणिमय भूषण राम राम मंजुल भाषण राम राम
रण जय रक्षक राम राम राक्षस गाजक राम राम रण जय रक्षक राम राम राक्षस गाजक राम 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 जय राजा राम राम जय सीता
राम राम जय राजा राम राम जय सीता
वैदेही प्रिय राम राम राजा राम जय सीता
वैदेही प्रिय राम राम राजा राम जय सीता
राम राम जय राजा राम राम जय सीता
राम राम जय राजा राम राम जय सीता
वैदेही प्रिय राम राम राजा राम जय सीता
वैदेही प्रिय राम राम राजा राम जय सीता
सीता राम जय राजा राम
सीता राम जय राजा
सीता राम जय राजा राम
बोलिए सियापति रामचंद्र की जय जय श्री राम. So last week and even this week, we are not going straight into the actual marriage ceremony as yet. We were looking and we are continuing to look at the events that happened before, because there are so many important lessons and values embedded in all those different events that took place. So just for a quick recap, and if you have missed the session last week, please do go and have a look at it so that you can have a proper connection and follow the whole wedding very beautifully. So we focused mainly on Shri Rama's and Sita Devi's meeting and seeing each other in the royal garden of Mithila for the first time. It was a delightful sighting of each other, so sweet and so beautiful. And it taught us an important lesson about temptation and intention. And we saw this in Sri Rama's response to Lakshmana in what is like almost like a heart-stopping love moment when you're contemplating what should be my next move. You know, many times we find ourselves in circumstances and we might think what to do next. So this is like it's a mantra-like treasure that Sri Rama shares with us, that he says to Lakshmana. And I want to ask the technician to bring up the chaupai on the screen, because I would like if we can learn this. I am just going to say the words and you can just follow, and then we are going to sing it together, because it's a mantra to keep with us always. So please repeat. Raghu Ban Sinha Kar Sahaja Subhau Manu Kupantha Pagu Dharai Na Kau. One more time. Raghu Ban Sinha Kar Sahaja Subhau Manu Kupantha Pagu Dharai Na Kau. Let's understand what it means first before we sing it. So you'll keep it on the screen when it's time for singing. The Raghuvamshis. Where are the Raghuvamshis? We are all here. We are all the Raghuvamshis. The nature, the swabhav, subhavu is given here. The vadhi. Our nature, the nature of the Raghuvamshis. Manu kupantha pagu dharai na kau. We never set our mind on kupantha, on a path that is destructive. Let us take these words from Sri Rama like a mantra to keep with us. We are the Raghuvamshis. We are descendants of that very Raghu Kula. And our intention should always be to follow the dharmic path. Let us sing this before we continue. Raghuvan Sinha Kara Sahaja Subhau Manukupantha Pagu Dharai Nakau. Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Raghuvan Sinha Kara Sahaja Subhau Sahaja Subhau Manukupantha Pagu Dharai Nakau. Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Boliye Siyapati Ramachandra ki Jai. Jai Shri Ram. Make sure you are chanting with us. All the Jaikar in your homes, in your spaces, fill it up with powerful divine vibrations. So let us be reminded to be very vigilant about temptation and about our intention. So on seeing Sita Devi, Sri Rama remembers his responsibility to his Kula Dharma. And we see this is a constant. Wherever he goes, whatever he is doing, it is always foremost in his mind. So in what we can say is a kind of tempting standstill moment when nothing is happening, he thinks of what is proper to do. What are the protocols that I should follow as a Raghuvamshi? Now, it is very fascinating how relevant this is to us right now. Do you all realize, Shantaji? How relevant is this to us? This is the beauty of our Shastras. It addresses and guides us through every real life issue. Because right now, COVID pandemic, everything is at a what? Standstill. It seems like what? Nothing is happening. We are tempted to do things. Isn't that so? We want to go to all the places we are accustomed to going, to do all the things we are accustomed to doing. But what we have to think about? What is the protocol to follow? What is the guideline to follow? What should we do in this circumstance and in any circumstance that comes before us? So this is a pertinent reflection today in this pandemic and how beautiful it is. What are we reminded? In the midst of this Katha that is going to evolve, Shri Ram Sita Vivaaha, be very vigilant and conscious and do what is the correct and right thing to do. So we saw Sita Devi is moving away, right? She was moving and she is also glancing, looking back. It's an important thing. I am looking at Krishna, not Sri Ram. So, glancing, right? And I mentioned this to you. It is also a bhakti moment. Jivatma looking towards Paramatma. And when that happens, it's a beautiful moment. So sometimes it seems, they say bhaktas behave like they're crazy because bhakti makes us so excited and so thrilled. So Sita Mata, she was told what you all remember? What the Sakhis told her, Shantaji? Don't worry to pray to Gauri right now. See Sri Ram, admire him and so on. And when they realized they were getting late, don't worry, we'll come back here tomorrow. We'll see them again. So very human, so beautiful. But where does Sita Devi go? And what does she do? Tulsi Baba tells us, Gai Bhavani Bhavana Bahori Bandi Charana Boli Kar Jori. Sing with us. Jai Ram Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jai Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. She had gone to that garden for a purpose and she did not forget that. Right? Even in that moment. You know how we get distracted sometimes from the things that are important to do? It didn't happen to Sita Devi. She, Gai Bhavani Bhavana Bahori. She went to Girija Mandir, to the Mandir of Bhavani, Jagat Janani. And Bandi Charana Boli Karajori. She put her hands together and she started praying. And there are about 18 to 20 beautiful lines of praise, so poetic and so powerful in honoring the Divine Mother. And when she was finished chanting and praying like this, Asa kahi charana gahe baidehi, she clasped the feet of the Murti. Sometimes when we are in a moment when we really have something that is there, a desire in our heart and in our minds, our prayer takes on a different level. It's more intense. The seeking is deeper as we go before Bhagwan and Bhagavati. So to it, Sita Devi. And it is said what happened? Binaya prem basa bhaye bhavani khasi mala murati musukani. Bhagavati, Divine Mother, Bhavani, she was overcome by the sincerity of Sita Devi's worship. And the mala fell from the murti, and she received this mala, special gift, special blessing. And what does it say? Murti Musukani. The murti was smiling. Look, Nailaji is here, Indraji and others. You know, when we decorate these murtis, sometimes they themselves will say, look at how the murti is smiling. It's a connection that we make in a very special way. So it's not something strange. Yes, it's solid, marble, but there's life because prana pratishta. So we can see the murti looking at us. We can see the smile. We can see the blessing and experience that. So beautiful. So Sita Devi did not neglect her devotion. It was not compromised in any way. So this Jaimal, this garland of victory, it is what is going to be used in the Swayamvar. Now, I am only extracting the portions that are important for us because we can't share all of these chaupais. So, on the outskirts of Mithila, Muni Vishwamitra and Shri Ram and Lakshman, they have arrived there, and the Raja Janak went earlier and they have already been met. So now, Satanandu Taba Janaka Bolaye, Kaushika Muni Pahit Turata Pathaye. So Guru Shatanand was told by Raja Janak to go to meet Muni Vishwamitra, Kaushika Muni, and Turanta, very quickly bring them here. Bring him here along with Shri Ram and Lakshmana, so that they can come. So Janaka Binaya Tinha Ai Sunai Harashe Boli Liye Do Bhai. When Guru Shatananda delivered this news and the message and the Nevta and the humble request of Raja Janak, Muni Vishwamitra, and the two, for them to attend the Swayamvar, they were all very happy. So let us see now what Muni Vishwamitra says to Ram and Lakshman. We sing together. Very simple Chaupai tune we are using now. Well, we all know all the Chaupai tunes, but easy for you to chant along. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Jai Shri Ram. So Muni Vishwamitra, he says to Shri Ram and Lakshmana, let us go to this Siya Swayamvaru Dekhiya Jai. Let us go to see who will win, will get Sita's hand in marriage. Who is going to enjoy such an honor to be married to her? And when all the Munis, see what is written here, Harashe Muni Sabasuni Barabani. All the munis, they rejoiced to hear the dialogue that was taking place. And with great joy, they gave their blessings to whom? Shri Rama. Yeah. So then, Muni Brinda Sameta Kripala, De Kanachale Dhanusha Makhasala. In their company now, he proceeded to Mithila to see, and they were going to the arena to see the preparation and how it was laid out for this Dhanusha Yagya. And there's something very subtle but very beautiful here. Shri Rama, I think Shri Rama and Lakshmana might have been the only two young people in that whole gathering there. What does it say? Harashe Muni Sabha, all the munis, all the gurus, all those who were there. You see the company we keep? It's very important. Right? Sri Rama is always in the company of well, not always, but of course the gurus and the munis, they have a great influence in his life. He's with elders, taking counsel and taking advice from all of them. The other day, there's a friend here, a sister we have here, and she always says, oh, my husband only have a set of old people for his friends. That's a great, beautiful thing, because you're in the company of wisdom. So let us be very conscious of the company that we keep. And company also means, yes, us human beings. Music is company. How much time TV giving you company, computer, Instagram, what again? Facebook, all of these things that are very useful. Very useful and very important. But let us also understand the importance of being in the company of that which will influence us in the best of ways. And another important reflection that we mustn't overlook, you and I are company for others. So we also have a big responsibility on our shoulders as well to be the best company for other people. So as they entered the Dhanush Yagya, the arena there, the Yagyashala, everyone saw Sri Rama in different ways. And I want to share this with you because the condition, each one of us, the condition of our mind, it's how we will see things. It's how we will perceive things. So everyone saw him in different ways according to their mental conditioning. The great warriors who already gathered there, they saw him as a mighty hero. The disguised Rakshasas, they saw him as Yamaraj himself. Oh my goodness, death is here. The wise saw him as the cosmic divinity, as the absolute. The citizens, they saw him as Narabhushan. Such a beautiful description. Narabhushan, one who is like the ornament of humanity, all human beings. He was looking so exemplary amongst all of them. This is why Maryada Purushottama, Rama, the one who is ideal in every way. Raja Janak and Rani Sunaina, they saw him like a dear child, coming before them. The devotees, the bhaktas, they saw him as their source of joy. So each person, according to his or her own what? Bhav. It's written here. Ehi bidhi raha jahi jasu bhav. Bhav. This is why we talk often about. Our mantra is what? Keep the bhav. It's an important reflection. What is your bhav? What is your bhav, your mood, your aura, your energy? That also influences the surrounding. So it says, like this, everyone saw him. And if you thought Shri Rama and Sita Devi were smitten with each other on getting a glimpse for the first time, the citizens had it real bad. Really bad. Real bhakti tabanka. Can say that word. Rama Rupa Arusiya Chabi Dekhe Nara Nadinha Parihari Nimeshe. Seeing Sri Rama and Sita Devi, the very embodiments of beauty, they represent everything beautiful. Nara Nadinha Parihari Nimeshe. The men and women alike, they forgot to blink. The eyes forgot to close. You know, Nimi is the deity, that divinity or energy that causes the eye to wink, the eyelids to work. So it said it seemed Nimi had left and gone away because everybody was just, what is it? Darshan. Moment of darshan. And when the bhaktas experience this, you just enjoy, you revel in the presence of Bhagwan in that moment, and everything else what? Diminishes, it loses significance. So as everyone is seated now and ready, the royal herald begins to announce. And I know you all know this katha so well, so let us take out the parts we want to use and join with us again in the chanting. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama. Soi Purani ko dandu kathora, Raj Samaj aaj joi tora. Soi Purani ko dandu kathora, Raj Samaj aaj joi tora. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama. Suni pan sakal bhupa abhilashe, bhaktamani atisaya man makhe. Suni pan sakal bhupa abhilashe, bhaktamani atisaya man makhe. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama. Tamkita kita ki shiva dhanu dharahi, uthai na koti bhati balu karahi. Tamkita kita ki shiva dhanu dharahi, uthai na koti bhati balu karahi. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama. बोलिए सियापति रामचंद्र की जय. Jai Shri Ram. Very beautiful. Sunahu Sakal Mahipala. So the herald is making the proclamation, the announcement. Listen, all the princes and kings gathered here to the vow of Raja Janaka. Whoever in this royal assembly, it was a spectacular gathering of the best, the finest. Whoever in this royal assembly lifts and breaks this mighty bow of Bhagwan Shiva shall be married to Sita Devi. And when the announcement was made, well, again, like when they all saw Sri Rama, there were different reactions and emotions. The same thing happened. So Tulsi Baba describes some of the kings and the princes, they got up impatiently. You know, when you're real anxious and you haven't thought about, properly reflected on what to do. So anxiety. So they got up impatiently, very anxious. Some were very arrogant and they flaunted their strength. I can see our Balram Dilla children in the night of their wedding for the Dhanush Yagya flaunted their strength and their capabilities. Some of them felt a kind of like a scoffing emotion, you know, anger at the bow. And see how it described, tamaki taki taki shiva dhanu dharai. Tamaki taki taki. You know, what's the big fuss about? Like this is what is written here. So beautiful, you know, how everything is being described. Some decided they're not even going to try, but we're going on stay to see what happened. Curiosity, right? Some left. And we know two for sure who left. Ravan and Banasura. They left. They decided they're not even going to try. Then some decided to cooperate, right? If I can't do it by myself, well, let all of us go. Well, I don't know how they were going to get married. So thinking without what? I'm acting without thinking properly. So what does it say? Sahasadasa, 10,000 of them, thousands of them came to try to lift this dhanush. But as much as they tried, as hard as they all tried, the mighty bow, it would not budge. Because you have to have a critical ingredient for that to happen. And one by one, they all returned to their seats, unsuccessful, spent and disheartened. By then, Raja Janak, he himself was anxious and running out of patience. And he was almost like in a state of disbelief because gathered here the best of the best, So he spoke in scolding terms. Bira bihina mahi maijani. It seems that there is no hero left. Not just here, but on earth. Mahi. Nowhere. Well, let's hear what happens next. Somebody we enjoy following and listening to, and always look at his reactions with great amusement. So I want you to see the word that this chaupai starts with. Okay, so listen to the word that this chaupai starts with. Let's chant together first. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Raghuvan Sinha Mahu Jaha Koi Hoi, Tehi Samaj As Kahai Na Koi. Raghuvan Sinha Mahu Jaha Koi, Tehi Samaj As Kahai Na Koi. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Lakhan Sakopa Bachan Je Bole, Dagamagani Mahi Dikkaj Dole. Lakhan Sakopa Bachan Je Bole, Dagamagani Mahi Dikkaj Dole. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. बोलिए सियापति रामचंद्र की जय. Jai Shri Ram. So I hope you at home can answer, and those of you who are present here, what's the first word I sang? Don't tell me Jai Ram or Shri Ram, okay? What's it? Raghuvamshi. Raghuvamshi. We started with our chaupai, isn't it? Raghuvamshanha kara sahaja sabhau. What is our nature? So Lakshman got up. Raghuvan Sinha Mahu Jaha Ko Hoi, Tehi Samaj As Kahai Na Koi. In an assembly, in a gathering, in a place where there is any Raghuvamshi present, no one should speak like Janak. No one should say words like this. Because Raghu's descendants are known for their noble character, for their cultured upbringing, we can describe it in many ways, for their heroism and all of that. This is about all of us. This is about our Jahajis, what heroism, what noble character, how rich in culture they were. This is what we have inherited. We are who are the Raghuvamshis, as I said before, right here, all of us. And then Lakshmana goes on his little rant, as he tends to do, right? He talks about what he will do, how easily he will lift the bow and string it. This is the description like a Kamala Nal. Kamala Nal is the stalk of the lotus. is what? It's not, you can bend it like this. Like see the dashing bush, that stalk of the dashing bush, like that, like the lotus stalk. He will lift the bow and string it like the kamalanal. And he wouldn't just stand up there with it or walk with it. Dhavahu. He will run with it, right? See what does he say here? Sakala loka sababhupa. Okay, I think I skipped that line. So he will run with it. Not, Shatajojan, it's here. Not 8 miles. Praveshji, you played Sri Rama, not 80 miles. He will run with it, Shatajojan, for 800 miles. This is Lakshman speaking, right? And the whole Samaj, they became what? Kind of terrified when he started speaking like this. But Sita Devi, Raja Janak and the Munis, Sakala Loga Sapa Bhupaderane, Siya Hiya Harashu, Janaku Sakuchane. What does it say? Let me go back here. So Sita Devi, while everyone is feeling terrified and agitated, Siya Hiya Harashu, she started to feel happy and smile, right? And Janaku Sakuchane, and Raja Janak, he started to blush. What is this going on here? And Puni Puni Palakahe, horripilation. All the munis and the gurus and the elders and so on, their hair stood on end. Now, why is Lakshmana able to speak like this? We have to see what motivates him and what drives him. Because when you read the lines, you see it. We mustn't miss this at all. Otherwise, we'll think he's just out of control. Right? He says to Prabhu Shri Rama, Tumhari anushasana, with your permission. Tava pratap, by your grace. Mahima Bhagavan, because of your glory, I will be able to do all of this. So beautiful. And we need to reflect on our own lives. What motivates you? What drives you? You know, what gives you that confidence? This is why, when we look at Hanuman Baba, after all his accomplishments and achievements in Lanka, when he comes back before Bhagwan Sri Rama, what does he say? So sabatava pratap ragurai. That confidence that I was able to do and act, it was only because of your grace, right? So Lakshmana's self-reliance, it is rooted in the Supreme Self. Myself, yes. But it is what? Anchored in the relationship, the awareness, the consciousness of the self that is supreme. This is why Sri Rama Sayanahi Raghupati Lakhanu Nevare Prema Sameta Nikat Baithare, with one glance. One glance from Sri Ram. You know how sometimes we say the wives give the husbands the eye and they know what to do? I think I'm making too many jokes this morning, but in the nature of the Katha, it's so light, such a wonderful mood, Or even our children, we give them the eye. Right, Vida? When you give them the eye, they know what to do one time. So, Sri Rama, just give Lakshmana, what? The glance. And he gets quiet. And he gets the signal and he comes, what? Prema Sameta, right alongside, right next to Nikata Baithade. If Sri Rama didn't have to say, as we say, Baitha jao or chup raho, be quiet and come and sit down here. Just the look, right? And he came and he sat down. Now, I am closing with a description of a king. Right? And I want you to tell me, who is this king? Ahaha tat daruni hat thani samujhata nahi kachulabha nahani sachiva sabhaya sikhadei na koi Buddha Samaj Badha Anuchita Hoi. This is the description of a king. This king has not given any regard to the consequences of his action. Right? This king has ministers who are too afraid of him. So none of them are giving him any proper advice and counsel, right? If Dave was there, probably give good counsel, right? So, how sad it is. This is what the Chaupai is saying. How sad it is that in an assembly of such wise people, no one is standing up and saying anything. And see how this, when you throw your hands up in the air and it's a sigh of distress, I give up. And what do we say? This is exactly how this Chaupai starts. It's written here. Who is this king? Ravan, sir? Does it say Ravan? That's not Ravan. That is Sita's reflection about Raja Janak. You'd never think that it would be there, right? Now, when we listen to this, right? Sita thinking like this because she's in love. No, so Raja Janak, and often this is misunderstood. You see what people are saying? There were other people who were reflecting, and you should see what they were thinking of him. Why is he so foolish? Why did he even decide to do something like this? What kind of king is he? And all kinds of prayers. Let the bow get light and let the whole weight of the bow come on the whole assembly. All kinds of different things people started thinking and saying about Raja Janak. But I want to close with this. He wanted such excellence for his daughter that he set the standard so high that even the people there who were so wise, even Sita herself, couldn't appreciate it in that moment. Because that person who would get her had to be deserving, had to prove himself. And no daughter must be a burden or an easy giveaway to anyone. No daughter. Right? Our daughters deserve the best. And it's a great reflection. So we are going to stop here. And we'll continue next week because you all know ZTV. Right. I am Gee TV. In India, they used to joke and tell me this. I'd be with the camera everywhere. We were at Nailaji's home, and we were doing that monthly chanting, Nailaji, if you remember. And I was telling them about that verse from Bhajagovindam, Balastavat Krida Saktaha, Tarunastavat Taruni Saktaha, Vridhastavat Chinta Saktaha, Padame Brahmani Kopina Saktaha. The things that we get attached to, right, as the children and play and young people to their passions. And then they were telling me, Gitaji, you never hear about Balika Vadhu Saktaha or Kundali Bhagya Saktaha. So I want to know what this is about. These are all the serials on TV, people. You have to finish at the right moment. So people get so attached and so anxious. They want to know what is coming in the next one. And I know you all know all the kathas, but hopefully our telling of it is bringing a different reflection for you because there's so much that is embedded. So here is a good place to stop. Next week, I want to share with you, we have the one wedding song, the Vivaaha Geet to do. It also talks about all that we have, not all, most of it, that we have shared this morning. So we had really, really big plans to have a full reenactment with our Balram Dilla cast next week for the wedding, because we are finishing the 3 sessions. Will end next week because the Ram Sita Vivaaha is just in about 10 days. We won't be able to do all of that because we're also very conscious of everyone's safety, but we are trying to plan a darshan moment for you. So we hope we can manage with this, and we look forward to you all joining us. So please invite everyone to come to the royal wedding next week. And you know, when you are going to a wedding, you have to carry a little gift, right? So you be the gift that comes to this wedding. And when you go to the wedding, you have to chadhavi a little khichdi. So if you can afford to, please do send some khichdi for the wedding next week. Special offering, dakshina dan. It's going to help our work. There's so much that we have to do still. So those are the announcements. As we reflect on this, we'll chant this beautiful Vivaaha Geet and then close off with our Aarti. So on the screen, you will see the copy and you can follow with us.
Hare Rama biyahan aaye Janakpur, Rama biyahan aaye. Hare Rama biyahan aaye Janakpur, Rama biyahan aaye. Raja Janakpur ek thane, Raja Janakpur ek thane. Dhanwadi ne dharaye Janakpur, Dhanwadi ne dharaye. Hare Rama biyahan aaye Janakpur, Rama biyahan aaye. Jo yahi dhanwa kare dui khanda, Jo yahi dhanwa kare dui khanda. Sita biyahe liye jaaye Janakpur, Sita biyahe liye jaaye. Hare Rama biyahan aaye Janakpur, Rama biyahan aaye. Bare bare veeran jodha aaye, bare bare veeran jodha aaye. Chuti aile muni raaye Janakpur, chuti aile muni raaye. Hare Rama biyahan aaye Janakpur, Rama biyahan aaye. Lankapati aur Manasur, Lankapati aur Manasur. Chut ke gaye lajaaye Janakpur, chut ke gaye lajaaye. Hare Rama biyahan aaye Janakpur, Rama biyahan aaye. Dure dhanwa kare nau khanda, Dure dhanwa kare nau khanda. Sita biyahe liye jaaye Janakpur, Sita biyahe liye jaaye. Hare Rama biyahan aaye Janakpur, Rama biyahan aaye. Hare Rama biyahan aaye Janakpur, Rama biyahan aaye. Janak sikhaye sakhiya sab laaye, Janak sikhaye sakhiya sab laaye. Ram gale mala डाले Janakpur, Janak ji sukh paaye. Hare Rama biyahan aaye Janakpur, Rama biyahan aaye. Hare Rama biyahan aaye Janakpur, Rama biyahan aaye. Hare Rama biyahan aaye Janakpur, Rama biyahan aaye.
बोलिए सियापति रामचंद्र की जय. Jai Shri Ram. So do make sure you join us next week. We'll get organized for our mantra offering and our Aarti, Naila ji and Sandra ji. So, it's been such a joyful morning. But life is made up of so many experiences, the pairs of opposites that we always talk about. And we have lost one of our members right here from nearby in the village. And we want to remember that family this morning and that departed. The funeral is actually going on right now. And that is Dan Bisundat Dhanpat, the husband of our Auntie Balu, who was ailing. He was ailing for some time and he has passed. And we are doing mantra offerings for the transition of that departed. We pray Bhagwan Shiva's grace and blessing for the family to have courage and to be able to cope with this experience of the death of their loved one. So we remember the whole Sankar family, and we remember Sankar family, and we pray to Shankar for them. Right? So we also, all others who are facing tragedy, so many deaths, as we have said, We pray for everyone, O Bhagwan Shankar. Send your grace, send your blessing, heal us, save us, protect us all. नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय भस्माङ्गरागाय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगम्बराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय मन्दाकिनी सलिलचन्दन चर्चिताय नन्दीश्वर प्रमथनाथ महेश्वराय मन्दार पुष्प बहुपुष्प सुपूजिताय तस्मै मकाराय नमः शिवाय शिवाय गौरी वरनाक्ष वृन्द सूर्याय दक्षाध्वरनाशकाय श्रीनीलकण्ठाय वृषध्वजाय तस्मै शिकाराय नमः शिवाय वसिष्ठकुम्भोर भवगौतमार्य मुनीन्द्रदेवार्चितशेखराय चन्द्रार्कवैश्वानरलोचनाय तस्मै वकाराय नमः शिवाय यज्ञस्वरूपाय जटाधराय पिनाकहस्ताय सनातनाय दिव्याय देवाय दिगम्बराय तस्मै यकाराय नमः शिवाय ॐ पञ्चाक्षरमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् शिवसन्निधौ शिवलोकमवाप्नोति शिवेन सह मोदते ॐ Make your offerings. ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय. We join in our traditional arati. Har Har Mahadev Gange, Kashi Vishwanath Shambhu. This is what we have always chanted here at the Kendra. Join with us. O Har Har Mahadev Gange, Kashi Vishwanath Shambhu. O Har Har Mahadev Gange, Kashi Vishwanath Shambhu. Har Har Mahadev Gange, Kashi Vishwanath Shambhu. O Har Har Mahadev Gange, Kashi Vishwanath Shambhu. O Har
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare.
We join in closing mantras. We pray for everyone and everything as we surrender ourselves totally before Bhagwan and Bhagavati. Om Durjano Sajano Bhuyat Sajana Shanti Mapnuyat Shanto Mosheta Bandhebhyo Muktas Shanyam Vimojayet Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahisha Gobrahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Yam Shanti Rantarikshagum Shanti Prithvi Shanti Rapaha Shanti Aushadaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Vishve Deva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvagum Shanti Shanti Deva Shanti Sama Shanti Redhi Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. प्रेम से और जोर से बोलिए गजानन स्वामी की, श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की, उमापति महादेव की, जगदम्बे माता की, पवन सुत हनुमान की, सियापति रामचंद्र की, गोस्वामी तुलसीदास की, ट्रिनिडाद और टोबैगो देश की, बोलिए श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय 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 सीताराम. Jag Pranam, we join. We offer salutation to Bhagwan in and through the entire creation. Siya Ram mai sab jag jani. Siya Ram mai sab jag jani. Karahu pranam jodi jug pani. सिया राम मैं सब जग जानी, करहु प्रणाम जोरी जुग पानी. जय श्री राम. Please take your seats, everyone present here. I'm not sure if you were standing at home, but we have come to the end of our beautiful session 2 of the Sri Ram Vivaaha, Sita Devi Vivaaha Satsang. And we invite you to join us for the conclusion next week for special wedding and the special darshan of the Dulhan Dulhan, Sri Ram and Sita Devi. We remind you to continue to follow all the guidelines. It was there embedded in our Katha. Sri Ram taught us about this morning. Take good care, exercise due caution, and be very vigilant. We look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a blessed, a safe, and very productive week. Namaskar.